Hello everyone, I am Danette Herrera, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and this is Savvy Stamps. Today's video will focus on the Sweet Strawberry Bundle, which is in the mini January to June catalog. You can find the bundle on page 44. Let me scoot it over for you. Comes with a full photopolymer stamp set with 16 stamps and a strawberry builder punch. So let you see how you use it. Also, because it's celebration for every $50 you spend, you earn free product. And part of the $100 level is this. This is the Sweet Strawberry Bundle, the photopolymer set, and the builder punch. And then the celebration product is the Berry Blessings, as well as this beautiful designer series paper. With every $100 purchase right now during celebration, you earn this free. The Berry Delight designer series paper coordinates with Balmy Blue, Blackberry Bliss, Calypso Coral, Cherry Cobbler, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, Night of Navy, Pacific Point, Poppy Parade, Rich Razzleberry, Shaded Spruce, and of course Whisper White. Let me show you a few of these. Come through it. Been having fun with this. So we have a raspberry on one side and a beautiful leaf image on the other. We have a pretty strawberry and another coordinating pattern on the opposite side. Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper is beautiful paper. It's always double-sided. This is that Rich Razzleberry. There's that Pacific Point. What a pop. This is beautiful red and strawberries. As you can see, I've cut into this a bit. I'm having fun with it. And so the patterns repeat. So today we're going to be making a cute little sweet treat box. You could use it for multitude of things. A little hand sanitizer. I put these, it's a cute little magnetic closure, and I put these strawberry candies in there. You get these candies anywhere. I picked them up in Walmart. And a little coordinating card. Simple stamping. Pretty simple. So the other thing I want to show you, let me put this aside, is how you can use this punch. Because it's a builder's punch, it's going to punch, let me flip it over, the items all at one time. So you can punch them all at one time, you don't have to. But if you decide you want to, I made this little template. This is just a spare piece of older watercolor paper. And then what you could do with your stamps is, now this is two-step stamping, so here's the strawberry, here's the filler one, and here's the outline. So whichever one you want to start with, I kind of like doing the filler part first, but it doesn't matter, or the outline. So you're going to put that flat edge up in here and do the same with all the other various images. There we go, one more. And then you can use your D block, which will be large enough, and you could pick them all up at one time. That way, if you wanted to stamp them with, say, Memento, to color them with the Stampin' Blend markers, you could, with Stays On and do some watercoloring. And you could also use this in your Stamparatus. Do it the same way and use your Stamparatus plate for repeated stamping. But like I said, you don't have to do it that way. It's just a neat little trick if you choose to. So let me show you what we're going to do. Let's start with the box. It's a really super easy box. Basically, they call this treat box the 2, 4, 6, 8 box, just because that's pretty much the scoring. So we're going to start with some Poppy Parade copy parade that measures 5.5 by 8.5, and then we're going to do some scoring. I'm going to use my paper trimmer, but you could also use your score pad if you had that available. Simply Score tool. Okay, so our first score line is at 2, just as it says. Let's take your cutting blade and put it way out of the way so you don't make any errors. Line that up and run that through at 2, 4, 6, and 8. So now I don't know if you could see that, but you're going to have one side that has a skinny tab. So now we're going to turn this and rotate that, and then on the short side you're going to score it at 2 inches. And that's all the scoring for the bottom of the box. Now we're going to go ahead and score the lid. The lid measures 4.5 inches long by 2 inches wide. We're going to score it at 1 and 3. Line it up with 1. Use your score tool, and 3. Okay, so now we're going to do some cutting and gluing. Oops. If you're not familiar with the paper trimmer, it's so easy to replace the blades. You just literally pop that out and pop that back in. I don't know if you saw it had fallen out. Super easy to replace. So here are your pieces. Now we're going to do some cutting glue. I'm going to use Stamp and Seal. You could use liquid glue, you can use tear and tape, whatever you prefer. The other punch we're going to be using today is the Delightful Tag Topper punch, just to make the lid of this. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is use your bone folder, and we're going to score. This one right here. And then R1 from the bottom. There we go. So now with this short end, can you see that with the light? This is the short end. So this is the piece we're actually going to cut away. So we're going to cut up the vertical to the first horizontal line and then cut that off. So then it'll look like this. Okay, now you're going to cut up all the other vertical lines up until the next horizontal line, but not past it. Okay, there we are. Now, if you choose, you can, the two center ones, you can cut a little bulk off, but you don't have to. It's not a necessary step if you choose not to. The box will come out just fine if you don't. There we go. Okay. Okay. So you're only putting adhesive. Let me get my silicone mat. If you don't have a silicone mat, they're really affordable, and it's almost a must-have. Okay. You're going to put a little Stamp and Seal or your tear and tape or your liquid glue on that end. I went over the edge, which is no biggie. You just roll it back a little bit. There you go. Now, I like to just lie it flat, and then you're going to bring this one over, line them up, and there's your bottom of your box already. Now, these sides are going to fold in, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue on two of the flaps. Oop, got a scrap piece, got a hitchhiker. Okay, and this one. There we go. So fold that down, fold this down, and then this over. That wasn't quite. There we go. You could stick your bone folder in the bottom, get that to like that. So there's the back of your box, but there's your box. Now we can decorate a little bit. I cut the pieces already pre-cut for the designer series paper. You'll need 4 pieces of the designer series paper that measures 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. 1 3/4 by 3 1/4, and then 1 piece that is a 1 3/4 square. So now we're going to simply, let me get rid of this piece. We're just going to simply add those designer series papers to your 4 sides of your, well, 3 sides, I'm going to say. We're not going to add it to the back quite yet. Now, whatever direction you want your designer series paper to go, your choice. Now, this is going to be the back, so I'm not going to put it on the back yet. So I'm just going to put it on 3 of the sides. And I'll show you why in a moment. Yes, that is the back. Just double checking. That one's a little longer. I'm not sure why. Oh, maybe that was an extra piece. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're not attaching the back yet. Now our piece that we have, a top piece that measures the 2 inches by 4.5 inches, we're going to reinforce the score lines. And then, I don't know if you can see, there's with the score lines, there's a wider and a shorter. The wider tab we're going to put in to our punch. The smaller tab we're going to put into our punch. Just going to give it a cute edge. The wider tab's going to be attached to the back. So give you a nice scalloped edge. Now we're going to adhere our square piece of designer series paper to the center panel right here. It's going to be the front, so I'm going to turn around the other way. There you go. Now, with Stamp and Seal, you want a stronger adhesive. So again, use your tear and tape, use your liquid glue, but you do want a stronger adhesive for this. And I'm adding a little more glue. Okay, so now this is the back. So you're going to line your score line up right to that back. Right like that. See how cute? So now we're going to put that designer series paper over that, so you won't even see that portion. See? So you won't even notice that that lid is there. Now, you can leave the lid. You can, I've used Velcro dots from the Dollar Tree, but I also have these thin magnets that I purchased off of Amazon. You get 20 magnets. I don't remember how much they are. If you flip them over, there's a plus and a minus. So we're going to go ahead and use one of those. Let me get rid of my take your pick tool and pop 2 out. Look at that, popped right into the next hole. So we need a plus and we need a minus. But again, you could use a Velcro dot if you want to adhere it down. Boy, there we go. Pretty strong for little magnets. There we go. Okay. So I let them magnetize together, and then you peel the sticky back, and there's your adhesive. I find this is the easiest way. And then where that little string is, oh, you know what? I'm going to do one step first. Let's leave that on the silicone mat now that I peeled the, there we go. I need a little piece of twine. This step also is optional. I just like a little pull, kind of like a pull tab. So we're going to take the, what I've done is take a piece of the Whisper White or Basic White twine, doubled it up. I'm going to put it through the hole. Can y'all see that very well? There you go. Put it through the hole, and then your loop, we're just going to pull the two ends through the loop. You'll see that. There you go. Don't worry about the length right now. Now that we've gotten that step, now we can, oops, adhere that down. Then what I do is just let it close, kind of center it there, giving this perfect little, now you can shorten these to whatever ones you like. Now, all we have to do is decorate it. Now to decorate this, I simply cut the designer series paper out, or you could use your punched images. So let me show you how that works. Let's get the stamp set. It's photopolymer, so you do want to make sure you're on a surface that, our piercing mat's a good sponge surface, because it's photopolymer and it doesn't have that foam adhesive behind it, the foam padding behind it. You want to make sure that it is on a surface that can give. I'm going to use Poppy Parade. Here it is. Okay. And I'm going to stamp off once. Now this goes in the punch straight on this way. So kind of see your punch, kind of have that in mind if you're going to not use them all together. There's my one. Now it's a two-step stamp, so let's get our detailed point. This one I'm not going to stamp off. And it's photopolymer, so it's pretty easy to line up. I'm gonna line it up over there, and there you go. Now we're gonna stamp a leaf. Oh, we can punch that out. Oh, I got red ink. There we go. There's our one piece. Now we could use our leaf image. I'm using Granny Apple Green. Love this Granny Apple Green. I think it's one of my favorite greens. Okay, now we're going to use that second stamp for this one. And it shall go right over this one. There you go. Slightly off on that one. Let's redo that one just a hair. There we go. Now take the other one. There we go. There's one leaf. Now same thing with the smaller images. And what a little trick I do is I tend to, this leaf image goes that way. I tend to put both of them on the opposite sides of the block. So just to speed up, I'm going to do this in Granny Apple Green as well. So I'm going to do that one. That's the background one. And then the detailed one. Not very good at lining them up today, are I? Let's give it a second. Okay, clean that with our cleaner. We'll get that stamped. That's going to be the top of your strawberry. There we go, line it up inside your punch. There's a second one. Actually, I've pre-done a bunch of them. And then the flowers, you could do, what I tend to do sometimes is make a strip. The flower one's pretty easy to punch in from the side. So again, it's 2 steps. So you have one on one side. Let me get that Granny Apple Green off that block. And then one on the other side. I use Daffodil Delight. And I use the open image first. And then the detailed outline. But you can do whichever way you feel comfortable. And 2-step doesn't necessarily, these line up pretty well, but they don't have to. And kind of give you like a watercolor effect. Okay, let's put this in. There we go. So you just line it up on the side here. There's your flowers. And when you do it in a strip, it's easy. You could just keep moving them down. There we go. There we go. Little pieces out of our punch. Not lose my stamps. Clear stamps I tend to lose sometimes. Okay, so now we can assemble. We got all our pieces, we can assemble, and then our box will be complete. Get all these scrap pieces out of our way. Okay. So what I do to, I put a couple together already, but what I do is I take the little stem part and I just use glue dots. 2 glue dots, add it to the top of your berry. How cute is that, right? Okay, so now I'm going to add a little decorative pieces here. So again, the original I cut out of the designer series paper. This time I decided to use some I've already punched, stamped and punched out. So I think I'm going to use some liquid glue and the dimensional. So this first one, I'm just going to, now you're not going to glue the whole thing because you'll have glue everywhere. It's just going to sit on that very top part right here. And it doesn't matter, that we kind of want to cover that hole a little bit. Now the second, we're just going to put on with dimensionals. And make sure you use all the edges, waste not, want not. So make sure you use the edges of your dimensional, you just cut them. That way you use every bit of it. Oh, I don't want too much. It's going to hang over the edge a little bit, so you don't want to put all the dimensional so high up on the edge. You want to make sure it's on the bottom part of the strawberry. Now you can, if you like, add a leaf kind of in the background if you wanted, but actually I'm okay with those two strawberries. The other one had a leaf, but I don't know, this one seems okay. Okay, if you want to open it, you can kind of press them down a little bit, make sure that they're adhered good. So when your guest or recipient wants to open it, they just pull the tab and open it, and it fits, like this is our glue. It fits glue, it fits, I filled mine with chocolates, strawberry candies. So that's that little piece. Okay, now I made a coordinating card. And the card truly is simple stamping. So here's the card we're going to create. I used thick whisper white, which measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm just going to burnish that edge. Okay, now we're going to do, this is Poppy Parade. We're going to take the Poppy Parade ink, put that glue up, and we're going to use this leaf stamp image. It's like the leaves and the little flowers. And we are going to just stamp a few. We're going to do tone on tone, so it's Poppy Parade on Poppy Parade. Now, you can do this a couple of different ways. If you just want a shadow image, you can stamp off one. You could use Versamark ink without the embossing and do it that way. You can also use clear embossing powder. Actually, the original one, I used clear embossing powder, which has a little bit more shine. This, if you can see the difference, this one is a little bit flatter image. And then super simple, we just took a couple extra scrap pieces of the designer series paper, and we're going to cut them. But first, let's stamp the sentiment. I used the thank you, and this is block H. So line it up with your grid paper. I have Poppy Parade all over me. Okay. There we go. Let me close up the Poppy Parade so I don't get more all over me. Okay, now we're just going to take, you could use your paper snips. I have long scissors, and just going to cut that down a bit more. You could use your paper trimmer, whatever you prefer. And then I'm going to angle it. I think I'll angle it up this way. There we go. So now these are, I think they're 1/2 inch. Yes, 1/2 inch pieces. This one doesn't look like a 1/2 inch, but that's okay. Just scrap pieces. It doesn't really necessarily matter. Could cut this down a little bit, I suppose. But basically, it's to use your scrap pieces. So the length, I just want them staggered a bit. So I'm going to angle that up. I think this one's going to be a little longer. Yeah. Okay, let's make this one a little longer. I'm angling them all in the same direction as well. Okay, let me use my liquid glue. So we're going to place that down. Now you can find all these supplies. If you need any of the supplies, you can go to my online store, Savvy Stamps at .stampinup.net, or head over to my blog, savvystamp.com. And again, you don't want it even, kind of making them all a little bit different. And now's a great time to stock up on your craft supplies because of celebration. You get lots of nice free product. Okay, so again, we're going to take a couple of these strawberries that we've already stamped. I'm going to glue one flat down. Do it right or wrong. And we each make our own, so, oh, here it is. That's a little big. Let me trim this down just a hair. Oh, there we go. So we're going to put on a dimensional. Now I'm making this very simply. You can easily, you know, emboss the back if you wanted with a embossing folder, but I just decided to keep it simple. And then I simply used my glue. Use your adhesive of your choice, but I kept this towards, kind of towards the upper right side instead of centering it in the card. And then this one, we're going to kind of center it towards the bottom left side. So it just gives it a little staggered, kind of like we did with the designer series paper. And I left it simple. I didn't add any embellishments or anything, but you could add some flowers if you wanted. You could add lots of different embellishments if you want, but I just left it the way it is. And then to keep it on the simple note, you could take your extra piece of designer series paper. You could use any side. I'm going to use the red side, and just add that extra piece inside. And then when you're ready to write your little note to whoever you like, you're ready to go. Super simple card, quick and easy treat box to coordinate. Again, using the Sweet Strawberry Bundle and the Berry Blessings and the designer series paper. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you stop by soon. Remember to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll know when I have a new video posted. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.